When the astronauts found themselves stranded on a planet dominated by beautiful alien warrior women, the humans knew they had to get the hell out of there fast before things got ugly. Blaring alarms and flashing red lights filled the ship as it hurtled out of control. Crew members were flung violently around the cabin. Justin Cox gripped his seat, knuckles white, sweat pouring down his face. With a tremendous crash, the ship slammed into the ground. Smoke poured from the wreckage as Justin and his crew dragged themselves out. They froze at the sight of dozens of towering alien women glaring at them, weapons raised. Clad in sleek black and silver armor that hugged their muscular yet shapely bodies, the females had lavender skin, white hair, and eyes that glowed a piercing blue. "I am Empress Kraxon of the Packleds," the tallest female declared. "You will surrender your technology and submit to interrogation." Justin held up his hands. "We mean no harm. Our ship malfunctioned. We just need to repair it, and we'll leave peacefully." Kraxon narrowed her eyes. "Males are forbidden here. We reproduce asexually. Ancient legends tell of an oppressive patriarchy that once enslaved our ancestors. You cannot be trusted." Justin's heart sank as he realized earning their trust would be nearly impossible. It didn't help that he found the warrior women strikingly attractive, despite the circumstances. Inspecting their ship, the bad news kept coming. The planet's bizarre magnetic fields blocked any communication with Earth. Worse, key systems were damaged beyond repair. They were well and truly stranded on this hostile world. The humans' only hope was to convince the Empress to let them stay while they made repairs. Justin pleaded their case and Kraxon begrudgingly agreed, but under heavy guard and with any sharing of technology punishable by death. As the humans struggled to fix their ship with meager supplies, cultural tensions with the guards threatened to boil over at any moment. Justin worked hard to build a bridge between their peoples. He learned that despite the Packleds' advanced tech, their rigid caste system was stifling their society. With the crew's frustrations mounting, Kraxon confronted Justin and rebuked his attempts at cooperation, mired in centuries of distrust of men. Justin stared into the cold eyes of this fearsome yet beautiful alien warrior. He realized their mission, and possibly their lives, were hanging by a thread. They had to get off this perilous planet before their welcome ran out and the Packleds' patience expired. Justin paced back and forth, mind racing. The standoff with the Packleds was reaching a breaking point. He gathered his crew. "Listen up, I have an idea. It's a long shot, but it might be our only chance to win them over." The others leaned in, skeptical but desperate. Justin laid out his plan, a series of challenges, pitting human against Packled in tests of strength, skill, and intelligence. If they won, Kraxon would have to give them the resources to fix their ship. If they lost, well, best not to dwell on that. Miguel frowned. "You really think they'll go for it?" "They're a warrior culture. They respect strength above all else. It's the only language they understand," Justin said. Kraxon's eyes narrowed as Justin presented his proposal. A tense silence hung in the air. Then, slowly, a smile spread across her face. "You have spirit, human. We accept your challenge. Prepare to be humiliated." The first contest, a wrestling match between Justin and Zora, the Packleds' most fearsome fighter. Zora towered over Justin, all rippling muscles and raw power. The two circled each other, eyes locked. Zora lunged, almost too fast to see, but Justin was ready. He dodged, using Zora's own momentum against her. They grappled, straining against each other. Zora was strong, but Justin was quicker. He twisted, using a move from his military training, and pinned her to the ground. The Packleds watched in stunned disbelief as their champion tapped out. Next up, an archery contest. The human's superior tech gave them the advantage. Miguel stepped up, calm and focused. His arrow flew true, splitting the center of the target. The Packled archer could only watch in dismay. One by one, the humans triumphed in the challenges. The Packleds grew restless, muttering among themselves. This wasn't supposed to happen. The final test, a dangerous flight through an asteroid field. Justin climbed into his ship, heart pounding. Kraxon shot him a look across the cockpit. Game on. They wove through the asteroids. daring, gravity, and death. Justin's fighter pilot instincts kicked in. He pushed the ship to its limits, threading gaps that seemed impossibly narrow. Neck and neck, they hurtled toward the finish. With a final daring push, Justin surged ahead, leaving Craxon in his wake. As he landed to the cheers of his crew, Justin saw something new in Craxon's eyes. Respect. "You have proven your worth," she said stiffly. "We will provide the resources you need." Over the next days, humans and Pakleds worked side by side to repair the ship. Slowly, tentatively, barriers began to break down. Justin and Craxon often found themselves working together, an unspoken understanding growing between them. But not everyone was happy with this turn of events. In shadowed corners, a faction of Pakled traditionalists plotted and schemed. They saw this alliance as a betrayal of everything they stood for. Justin was underneath the ship, elbow deep in wires, when the explosion rocked the hangar. He rushed out to see smoke billowing from the engine, sparks flying, sabotage. As the humans and their Pakled allies worked frantically to undo the damage, Justin caught a flicker of movement in the shadows. The dissidents, preparing for another strike. He raced after them, heart in his throat. He had to stop them before they destroyed any chance of the humans getting off this rock alive. The clock was ticking, the stakes higher than ever. Justin's blood ran cold as the first energy blasts tore through the hangar. The dissidents poured in, their weapons spitting blue fire. Chaos erupted as humans and loyal Pakleds scrambled for cover. "Everyone to battle stations!" Justin bellowed, diving behind a stack of crates. He grabbed a fallen energy rifle, its alien design uncomfortable in his hands. Craxon appeared at his side, her face a mask of fury. "We fight together, human," she growled. Justin nodded, then shouted to his crew, "Sam, get those defense systems online." Samantha's voice crackled over the comm. "Working on it. Give me 5 minutes." "We don't have 5 minutes," Justin yelled back, popping up to fire a quick burst at the advancing dissidents. The air filled with screams and the acrid smell of ozone as energy weapons discharged. Justin watched in horror as a Pakled ally fell, chest smoking from a direct hit. The dissidents pressed forward, their superior strength and alien tech giving them the edge. Craxon roared a battle cry and charged, her massive form bowling over 3 dissidents. Justin provided covering fire, his shots wild but keeping the enemy's heads down. "Justin!" Miguel shouted from across the hangar. "They're flanking us!" Justin spun to see a group of dissidents circling around. He fired desperately, but they kept coming. A stray shot struck the ship's hull with a thunderous clang. Alarms suddenly blared to life. Justin's stomach dropped as he recognized the sound. Antimatter containment breach. "Craxon," he called. "We've got minutes before this whole place blows." Her eyes met his, and in that moment, an unspoken plan formed between them. "Cover me!" Justin yelled, sprinting for the ship's access panel. Energy blasts sizzled past his head as he worked furiously, overriding safeties and rerouting power. "Whatever you're doing, hurry!" Craxon shouted, single-handedly holding off a wave of attackers. Justin's fingers flew across the controls. "Brace yourselves!" he screamed. He slammed the final command home. The ship's engines flared to life with a deafening roar. A wave of superheated plasma erupted from the exhaust ports, engulfing the hangar in blinding light. The world exploded. Justin came to, ears ringing, vision blurred. The hangar was gone, replaced by a smoking crater. Bits of debris and charred bodies littered the ground. He staggered to his feet, searching for survivors. "Over here!" Craxon's voice called. She emerged from the wreckage, supporting a wounded Pakled. Other figures stirred in the rubble, humans and loyal Pakleds, battered but alive. As the smoke cleared, the full extent of the damage became apparent. Their ship, their only way off this world, was nothing more than twisted metal. "The dissidents," Justin realized with growing dread. "They sabotaged your ships too." Craxon's face hardened. "Then we make our stand here." They worked quickly, gathering what weapons and supplies they could salvage. Justin helped Craxton organize defensive positions, knowing it was only a matter of time before the remaining dissidents regrouped. Hours passed in tense silence. Then, on the horizon, they appeared. Tanks, walkers, hovering gun platforms, an army of dissident forces come to finish what they started. "Surrender now!" a voice boomed across the battlefield. "Or be destroyed!" Justin looked to Craxton. She met his gaze, a fierce light in her eyes. No words were needed. They would not go down without a fight. "Ready!" Justin called to his ragtag band of defenders. The dissidents advanced, their war machines shaking the ground. Justin's palms sweat as he gripped his stolen weapon. "Now!" Craxton roared. They opened fire, a desperate fusillade against overwhelming odds. Somehow, impossibly, the front line of dissidents faltered. A gap opened in their formation. "There!" Justin shouted. "Push through!" They charged, humans and pack-leads fighting side by side. Energy blasts filled the air as they punched through the dissident lines. Justin ran harder than he'd ever run in his life, Craxton at his side, the sounds of battle fading behind them as they plunged into the alien wilderness beyond. They didn't stop running until the sounds of pursuit faded completely. Justin collapsed against a twisted alien tree, lungs burning. He looked at Craxton, her lavender skin streaked with dirt and blood. "What now?" he gasped. She gestured to the harsh alien landscape stretching before them. "We survive. We find a way off this world, together." Justin nodded, pushing himself to his feet. Whatever came next, they'd face it as one. Justin and Craxton pushed through the dense underbrush, their ragtag band of survivors trailing behind. The alien wilderness stretched endlessly before them, a sea of twisted vegetation in shades of purple and blue. They paused atop a rocky outcropping, scanning for any signs of pursuit. "I think we lost them," Justin panted, wiping sweat from his brow. Craxton nodded, her lavender skin glistening with exertion. "For now, but we can't keep running forever." As days turned to weeks, their situation grew dire. Food and water dwindled rapidly. Justin watched helplessly as both humans and pack-leads grew gaunt and weak. Tempers flared as hunger gnawed at their determination. "We're going to die out here," Miguel muttered one night, staring into the embers of their meager fire. Justin clenched his fists. "No, we'll find a way. We have to." Their breakthrough came unexpectedly. One of Craxton's scouts burst into camp, eyes wide with excitement. "You need to see this!" They followed her through a narrow ravine, emerging into a hidden valley. There, rising from the jungle floor, stood the crumbling remnants of an ancient structure. Weathered stone pillars and overgrown archways hinted at its former grandeur. "Finally," Justin breathed, "shelter." They explored the ruins cautiously, weapons at the ready. But the only inhabitants were dust and shadows. As they ventured deeper, Justin's flashlight illuminated a series of faded murals along one wall. He froze, stunned by what he saw. The images depicted pack-led males and females, working together as equals. No signs of the rigid matriarchy that defined modern pack-led society. "Craxton," he called out, "you need to see this." She approached slowly, her expression guarded. As she took in the murals, her eyes widened in disbelief. "Impossible," she whispered. "This goes against everything we've been taught." Justin's mind raced. What if it's not impossible? What if there are others out there who believe in equality? Craxton shook her head. Even if there were, how would we find them? "We have to try," Justin insisted. "They could be the key to defeating the dissidents." After hours of heated debate, Craxton reluctantly agreed. They split into smaller teams, venturing out to search for any trace of these lost pack-leads. Weeks passed with no success. Justin's team trekked through endless jungle, hope fading with each fruitless day. Then, as they crested a hill, they spotted movement in the valley below. A small encampment hidden among the trees. As they approached, spears suddenly bristled from the undergrowth. Alien faces glared at them with open hostility. Justin raised his hand slowly. "Wait, we come in peace. We seek the followers of the old ways." The spears didn't waver. Then an elderly male pushed through the ranks. His gnarled frame belied the intensity of his gaze as he studied Justin. "You know of the old ways?" he asked warily. Justin nodded. "I've seen the murals. Please, we need your help." The elder considered for a long moment, then gestured for them to lower their weapons. "I am Torquem. Come, we will hear your story." In the nomads' camp, Justin poured out everything that had happened. He spoke of the dissidents, the desperate flight into the wilderness, and their dream of a better future for all Pakleds. Torquem listened intently, his wrinkled face unreadable. When Justin finished, the old Pakled leaned forward. "Your words stir something long dormant in our hearts," he said. "But words are easy. If you truly believe in our cause, you must prove it." "How?" Justin asked. Torquem's eyes glinted. "Through the ritual of blood bonding. It will link our fates together. Only then can we trust you fully." Justin swallowed hard. The ritual sounded ominous, but he saw no other choice. "I'll do it." The ceremony began at sunset. Justin knelt before Torquem, stripped to the waist. The elder produced a wickedly curved blade. "This will hurt," Torquem warned, "but pain is the price of true brotherhood." The first cut sent fire racing across Justin's chest. He gritted his teeth, fighting the urge to cry out as Torquem carved intricate patterns into his flesh. Blood flowed freely, mingling with some strange substance the Pakleds applied to the wounds. Hours passed in a haze of agony. Justin's vision swam, his entire being focused on enduring each new cut. Finally, mercifully, it ended. He slumped forward, barely conscious. When he awoke, Justin found himself surrounded by reverent faces. Torquem clasped his arm, eyes shining with newfound respect. "You have proven yourself, brother," the elder said. "We will fight at your side." Word spread quickly. Other nomadic bands emerged from hiding, drawn by whispers of revolution. Justin watched in awe as their ragtag groups swelled into a true resistance movement. But even as hope bloomed, dark clouds gathered on the horizon. Reports filtered in of dissident forces mobilizing, determined to crush this fledgling rebellion. The final confrontation loomed ever closer, with the fate of an entire world hanging in the balance. The sky erupted in flames. Justin's eyes widened as he watched the first salvos of orbital fire rain down on their hidden camps. The ground shook, trees splintered, and screams filled the air. "Incoming!" he yelled, diving for cover as another blast tore through the canopy above. Torquem stumbled to his side, face streaked with dirt and blood. "We're under attack! The dissidents found us!" Justin grabbed the elder's arm, pulling him toward a makeshift bunker. "We need to rally the survivors, now!" They raced through the chaos, dodging falling debris and helping the injured. The acrid stench of burning flesh filled Justin's nostrils as he saw the true cost of the bombardment. Hundreds of bodies lay scattered across the once peaceful glade. "This way!" Torquem shouted, leading them to a hidden command center. Inside, Justin found Craxon coordinating what remained of their forces. Her face was grim as she looked up from a battered communications array. "They hit us hard," she said. "We've lost at least half our people." Justin clenched his fists. "Then we hit back harder. We can't match their firepower, but we can outmaneuver them." Over the next weeks, Justin led daring hit-and-run attacks against dissident supply lines and communications hubs. They struck from the shadows, vanishing before the enemy could retaliate. But for every victory, the cost grew steeper. One night, as they huddled around a fading campfire, a scout burst into their hideout. "They're using some kind of new weapon," he gasped. It's killing everything it touches." Justin's blood ran cold as reports flooded in of entire regions consumed by ravenous bioweapons and relentless hunter-killer drones. Their guerrilla tactics were no longer enough. "We need to take the fight to them," Justin declared. "If we can commandeer their orbital weapons, we might have a chance." The plan was insane, but it was their only hope. Justin handpicked a strike team, and they used salvaged stealth tech to slip aboard one of the dissident warships. The zero-gravity battle that followed was unlike anything Justin had ever experienced. He tumbled through the corridors, firing his magnetized boots to change direction as he exchanged fire with the dissident crew. The ship's artificial gravity flickered on and off, adding to the chaos. "We're in!" Craxton's voice crackled over the comm. "Accessing weapons control now!" Justin felt a surge of triumph as the ship's massive cannons turned on the other vessels in the dissident fleet. Explosions bloomed in the void of space as they systematically targeted the enemy's orbital platforms and planet-side strongholds. Their victory was short-lived. As they fought their way back to the planet's surface, dissident forces closed in from all sides. Justin's team found themselves cornered in the ruins of an ancient city, forced underground by relentless bombardment. The siege that followed pushed them to the brink of annihilation. Justin watched helplessly as his comrades fell one by one to insidious nanite swarms and choking gas. Even Craxton wasn't spared, a stray energy blast leaving her gravely wounded. "We can't hold out much longer," she gasped, her lavender skin pale and clammy. Justin gripped her hand tightly. "We're not done yet. We'll find a way." It was then that Torcum approached, his eyes burning with an otherworldly light. "There is a way," the old nomad said, "but the cost will be great." Before Justin could protest, Torcum began to chant in an ancient tongue. The air around them crackled with energy as the elder's life force seemed to drain away. A blinding wave of energy exploded outward, vaporizing the entire dissident siege force in an instant. When the light faded, Torcum's lifeless body lay at their feet. The dissidents were gone, but at a terrible price. In the eerie silence that followed, a crackling transmission cut through the air. The dissidents were calling for a ceasefire, regrouping after their devastating losses. Justin knew this might be their only chance. "We need to get off this planet," he said. "There's a dissident warship nearby. If we can reach it..." The battered remnants of their forces rallied for one final push. Justin watched in anguish as row after row of rebels fell, buying them precious time to reach the launch site. He was forced to leave behind his surviving crew, entrusting them to the remaining nomads, as he carried the wounded Craxton toward their last hope of escape. At the foot of the massive warship, Justin's old friend Miguel appeared. The pilot's face was set with unshakable focus. "I'll get her prepped for launch," Miguel said. "You get Craxton aboard." Justin nodded, helping Craxton up the ramp. It wasn't until the engines began to roar that he realized Miguel wasn't with them. "What are you doing?" Justin shouted through the comm. Miguel's voice came back, tinged with static and regret. "Someone has to trigger the launch sequence manually. It's the only way." Before Justin could protest, the ship lurched skyward. He watched helplessly from a view screen as Miguel's figure grew smaller, waving a final farewell as the planet fell away beneath them.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.